Welcome back to the Caribou Data Science channel. Today is Thursday, November 19th. I'm getting ready to run my daily reports. Before I get started, a couple quick things. First of all, there will be a table of contents in the description below, so that you can jump to whatever parts you require. Also, there's also a link called "Buy Me a Cup of Coffee" there. I would really appreciate a nice latte today. So I'd appreciate, so if you feel so moved, just click on that link and leave me a couple bucks so I can afford a cup of coffee today. Uh, okay, let's take a look now. This is the European Centers for, excuse me, this is the European Centers for Disease Prevention and Control's data. We're currently averaging 37,927 uh, cases per day and 942 deaths per day. The current mortality rate is still 3.1%. The red line is 3.1%. Look at all the days when the mortality rate is below 3.1%. Now, why is that? Well, that's because we have cases skyrocketing, as you can see here, but deaths remain fairly low. Okay, if the deaths are running parallel, that'll be a problem. But you can see here we are above this number here. We're almost to this point here. Okay, but maybe God have mercy on the United States, and you'll bring the COVID-19 virus to an end swiftly and completely. It certainly is my daily prayer, and I hope it is your prayer also. Let's zoom into the. Let's zoom into uh, to June now. Nothing new here. That the gray area is a 17 to 21 day incubation period of time between infection and death, according to the Washington University's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation. Okay, we can zoom in on cases now. You can see, and deaths. You can see deaths are well above uh, this number here now on average. Okay, so that's not particularly good news. But it could be worse. Okay, I mean, what remains to be seen. Now, this is the weekly cases. The red line is the average number of weekly cases. You can see our problem is we've really been above this line since July. Okay, so that's not good. Let's take a look at the deaths now per week. Now, here's where some good news is coming in. Okay, this is the average number of deaths per week. Look at all the look at this section here. These numbers here really aren't that high. They're not that far above this number. But look at all the weeks when we were underneath, when the weekly deaths were underneath the average. That's why the mortality rate is staying so low. Cases, okay, we got 3 months in cases, plus another week and a half to go. Deaths, deaths continue to remain fairly low. Okay, as low as it was back here in April. And we're back here. We started to open the things back up. Obviously, this is good news because it isn't much higher than this, and it's lower than this number here. Okay, so that concludes the report for the United States for today. Once again, I remind you there's a table of contents in there, and also don't forget to click on that link and buy me a cup of coffee. Okay, I really appreciate that. All right, let's take a look at. Let's go and save this number up to our data set. Then we'll move on to the state of Ohio. Let's see. Okay, that takes care of that number. Now let's move over to Ohio. Okay. Well, first of all, take a look at the Ohio COVID-19 news. Let's go there. Franklin County first in Ohio with purple designation. Um, yeah, cases are spiking, but the deaths are actually fairly low, as you'll see in a moment. Okay, Franklin County 4. Yeah, but there are counties that have more deaths. Well, what about Cuyahoga County or Hamilton County? Okay, there's the update. Franklin County level 4,000 tests being double checked. Closures, cancellations. Except most people aren't uh, dying. Okay, okay. I don't think he really fully understands what's really going on either. USA. So let's come here to Ohio. Save. We need to do. Okay, let's do something a little funky down here. Do I have mortality rate down here any place? Okay, so let's take a look at the. Okay, let's take a look down here at this. Okay, let's change this. So what's the mean? Let's just run this down to here. Let's go ahead and put D par down. Well, I won't use, but let's just put there for the fun of it. DF, Ohio. States daily. So that's Franklin County, okay? So let's run this number here to get our death rate. Okay. So can we do this? DF. How do we get rid of mean? Okay. Let's come back over here. Do I calculate mortality rate somewhere in place? No. Okay. Let's come back up here. Okay. Let's calculate the mortality rate first. Alrighty now, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? I'm going to do this then. Let's say GGPO T con DF plus underscore equals. Okay, let's do this. All right. Uh, so let's see if this works. Well, that was a big help. So now we see the mortality rate for the U.S. for the state of Ohio, right? Let's do this. Underscore. So let's see if we can get a average line. That's not the way that works, is it? X equals. What are you saying here? DT comma Y equals. One, two, three. Okay. Okay. Enter. We don't need that. We don't need that. Intercept. Okay, we don't need this. No, let's just try death rate, see what happens. Why isn't death rate found here? You know what? I'll come back to that later on. We can just we can get an idea of what's going on here. Okay, so let's do one more thing. E Y. So we can say Y continuous, and let's come down here. Let's see how this. There we go. So you can see here. The high mortality rate is well under 5%. So once again, I think the governor's probably overreacting, quite honestly. Okay, so let's come down, take a look at some more data down here. So let's take a look at cases. Yep, cases are continuing to climb. That's very true. And deaths are above this number here, but the deaths are still only at 50. Okay, cases, deaths. Let's take a look at the weekly numbers now. Okay, let's make one change here on smooth. Okay, let's run this again. Little plot cleanup there. Okay. Yep. Weekly cases are still climbing. Although there's a chance that this week may not catch next week's. Deaths, a little bit more fluctuation. You can see we had a major spike back in April, May. But after that point, it's really stayed pretty low, maybe 200 per week, 225 per week, with some volatility. Okay, so this is kind of leveled out here. Let's take a look at months now. Okay, so now we can see monthly cases. Monthly cases have been increasing for 3 months now. But deaths have actually, October deaths were below this line here. Okay, In all probability, November's numbers are probably finished below this year. That number there's six. So we had 610, 25 deaths back in September, August and September. Okay, but actually October was the lowest month for deaths so far. Interesting enough. Okay, now let's take a look at the top 5 counties. These are the so these are the counties with the most cases during the last 5 months. Okay, for the last 7 days. Cuyahoga second, and Hamilton County third. Let's take a look at this now. This is a change in deaths. But Franklin still has the fewest number of deaths in the last 7 days. Okay, Montgomery is a real issue. 10 deaths in the last 7 days in Montgomery. But you know what the problem is? These numbers aren't that big. Still aren't. 2.5 deaths, 3 deaths for Cuyahoga. Franklin, this is in last place here. Someone has 0 deaths. Franklin County, let's take numbers. Actually, look at Franklin County. As with everything else, they are increasing. Deaths, we had this long decline in deaths here. Now it's starting to clamp a little bit more. Okay, but where was all the talk about declining deaths? You know, I personally think that a disease like this, you got to be careful not to place too much emphasis on single day numbers, simply because that could be an adjustment from yesterday or something like that, or a report timing issue or something like that. Okay, so I'm not really concerned with these spikes here because it spikes up and it comes all the way back down to here. That's the issue. So let's just go ahead and run this report from the top then. Ohio, well, I'm not sure Ohio's actually doing that good, honestly, overall. Okay, 3.9% mortality rate on average. So this would be 5. So somewhere down around here would be 3.5. So since July, the deaths haven't been that bad. This would be 5% here. These here are the deaths mortality rates below this. Cases, deaths, weekly cases, monthly cases, monthly cases, monthly deaths. Counties with the most cases in the last 7 days. Counties with the most deaths in the last 7 days. Franklin County spike. Overall, Franklin County isn't doing that bad. Okay? They're not doing that bad yet. So it remains to be seen what happens after this out here. Okay, so that takes care of the state of Ohio. It also takes care for the end of this video. If you hang in there this far, I'd appreciate it. By the way, if you haven't done so, then click the red S subscribe button at the bottom right hand corner. Also, click that bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified whenever I update one of my reports. Again, thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for you 49 subscribers. I appreciate every one of you guys and gals out there for that. Thanks so much. We'll catch you on the next report.